Hi, and welcome to the SEO podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing.
All right. I think we got it right. Yeah.
Well, we should, because this is podcast number 100. That's a high five for that.
That's awesome.
We made it to 100. I don't know, that's what, 50 weeks?
Yeah.
Is it?
And
No, that's every other week. No, that's 100 weeks. But we skipped a couple weeks. I don't even know where I divided by 2. As you realize, this is not the math podcast. This is the SEO podcast. Thank you guys for listening. You are listening to the most popular SEO podcast on iTunes. Again, that's because of you guys. We really appreciate you. You can stalk us. Twitter.com/eWebstyle. Facebook.com/eWebstyle. You can actually watch this podcast live 9:15ish Central Standard Time on Fridays. All you need to do is go to the page e-webstyle.com and find the link, or continue typing and type in /SEO podcast. That'll take you to that podcast page.
Yes, and on our homepage, we have a list of, just below the flash banner, we have a list of places to contact us. We have a podcast link, Facebook link, I think.
Yep, Twitter link. Yep.
So if you can't reach us, you have a problem.
Yeah, you're not really trying.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. And I'm excited. We got a review today on iTunes. That's pretty cool. We've got lots of information to cover on Facebook. We are our man in the field for South by Southwest in Calhoun. Not only provided a lot of good feedback and cool stuff about South by Southwest, he also followed up with the meat and potatoes of today's podcast,
yes, he did.
which is actually from SMX, not South by Southwest, which, I had to, I don't know.
But he said some cool stuff from South by Southwest, though.
So we'll cover a little bit of that. As always, last podcast, our tip from last podcast was monitor and take action to published algorithmic changes.
Yes.
Basically, we covered some algorithm changes, and we're going to be talking about some of that today. But we covered algorithm changes that were made to the Google algorithm, and you really do need to monitor those on a regular basis so that you can make sure that you're taking appropriate steps. The review we got, this review is from M. Terrades.
That's what's up.
Yeah. That's a good roll, huh?
Yeah.
Here it is. Great show. I'm a beginner at SEO. Hey, that rhymes. He's following the instructions.
There you go.
And listening to you two guys while I work helps me out. Also makes me crack up. I hope to hear more shows and absorb some more wisdom from you two. Wisdom, wow. Thanks for the info, and don't stop. Believe us, we're not going to stop.
That's what's up.
Don't stop. Get it.
I was thinking that same thing. Get it. This are those of you who like friends of not Luke Skywalker, Luther Campbell, Two Live Crew. That's an old Two Live Crew song.
Or Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, or Luke Skywalker. Today's tip from today's podcast: don't stop. Get it.
Don't stop, get it. I like that. That's a good one. We'll have 2 tips, because one does need to be SEO
Links.
related.
Don't stop, get them. Content. Don't stop, get them.
All right, we had Brian Florup did some research for us. So last podcast we were talking about JCPenney, and I think you said like James or something, and we were trying to figure out what JCPenney was. He actually looked it up for us, and it's James Cash Penny.
Oh, that's what's up.
And somebody named Cash Penny is bound to make a lot of money. I mean, that's just like, that's your name. That's like naming your son Money.
I'm not sure if it was him or the guy, or Sam Walton, that was like ridiculously cheap.
Oh, it was Walton.
Okay.
Walton was like,
retarded rich and super cheap.
Billionaire, and drove like a 20-year-old
like 84
truck.
Cutlass.
Yeah. It's bad. So a little bit that Dean Calhoun covered. Day 4, South by Southwest. He was attending the mobilization performance from Search, and big time saver. Go to getlisted.org. We actually haven't checked that out. He said the Dig Nation party the previous night was amazing. He sent us a picture. DJ spinning up peanuts.
Yeah, I saw that.
At Dig Nation party. Got a couple likes on that. You can check that little video that he put out there. He did attend the what was this Dig Nation event? He thought the Dig Nation event was great. Vimo, Nikon, Even better, Nerds Gone Wild was his description of that. And scheduled for today was the Bing Google Smackdown, which turned out to be not so much of a smackdown. He also sends us a picture, and I've seen this picture before, and it's how not to be a douchebag.
Okay.
And I thought, of course, one of our mantras is don't be a douche. In fact, I haven't mentioned it in a while. Remember, we are your friendly, local, neighborhood top position snatchers, where our mantra is don't be a douche. And I responded, I said, seems we're trendsetters, and Darren Bowie chimes in and he says, why is nobody asking why a cat is wearing a Hawaiian shirt? Because that's in the image.
It's in the picture?
Yeah.
I do see that Dean is using Growala.
Yeah?
He's been checking in with Growala. I think I might be butchering it.
Is that like a Hootsuite kind of?
No, it's like from my understanding, it's like a Yelp or Foursquare. But it's based in Austin. It's an Austin-based company.
Oh, okay.
And the only reason I know that is because they did some advertising before by Southwest, and I looked it up. I was like, oh, what is that? That looks cool. So just something else that you can check into.
Yeah, since there's not enough new technology to be looking at on a regular basis. He said at the final event at Stubbs, the Foo Fighters showed up.
Wow.
And he said 6,000 of our closest friends were there.
Wow. Nerds Gone Wild. That's exactly what it was. That's crazy.
And he did send us this, we got a little bit of news to cover, too.
Okay.
And then we'll cover his last little post.
Pocket protectors going everywhere.
We've been having a client, we have a client who, they closed one of their stores. So they had 2 stores in Houston. They closed one of their stores, and she calls and she says, people keep calling me and telling me they're showing up to my old address. Why is that? And of course on the website that's been updated so long ago it's ridiculous. And on Google it's down to just the one listing. And sure enough, over on Bing were 2 listings: her location that closed down and the location that's still open. So I've literally been working for 2 months to try and figure out how to gain control of the second one. And it's this process where the thing you think you should do that makes the most sense doesn't work. Like, grab control of it and change the information. And I think what happens is, as soon as I change it to the other address, it goes, oh, you want control over the other one, not the one with the bad address. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to change that one.
This one.
I actually pressed the report inaccurate data. It went to a 404 page, so it's not even available.
So what do you do? Just quit?
Yeah, the client called again yesterday, and I've last week I created a new account so that they would be separate, and I just grabbed and got a hold of that account to try and just have control over it. I finally did that yesterday, and then we did a call, so we'll see in the next couple days. I mention all of this just because not only it's not just Google local places that's dysfunctional.
Yeah. But
it's also Bing.
Oh yeah, but it is definitely dysfunctional.
Yeah, it is definitely dysfunctional. How about this? Rustuck, and you're gonna know this was shut down. What does that mean for you?
Man, that means that my life will continue on the same way it did yesterday.
Except it will probably have 39% less spam.
Oh, that's what's up.
The dude, he says Rustuck is a
spam
botnet.
server?
It's a botnet, so
Okay.
it's a network. They think of 1 million infected computers, and it got taken down. When it was taken down in 2008, it reduced spam by 75%.
That's what's up.
And then it relocated and fired up again.
To Switzerland.
To someplace internet safe.
Yeah.
Android. So there's a report that the Android Nexus was the browsing was 52% faster than Apple. Apple cries foul because they weren't using the actual Safari browser. They were using other technologies to make it easier to monitor time. So, blah, 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 blah. Speaking of Apple, which we do a lot, probably too much, Toshiba and Mitsubishi are in the process of trying to get their plants back up in Japan. That's the supplier of memory. Toshiba supplies about 40% of the world's memory, and Mitsubishi supplies a resin that goes into the iPad 2. Probably both. So
their operation, So their technology goes into Apple products,
Yeah.
and their Japan plants are down. Ooh, that's
Yeah.
gonna suck.
So
Ooh, that's really gotta suck with the iPad 2.
on its way.
Ooh, man.
Well,
So
what they were
price about to go up.
What they were saying is that Apple has such a high tier partner that they're going to get precedence. So other people will probably get the shaft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
So we're not making anything but Apple products for the next 2 months.
Yeah, and as soon as we can make it, we'll be making
Yeah.
more Apple products because that's how it works.
That sucks. So the price, I say the demand will go down, price will go up. That's
Yeah.
all I remember from Econ 101.
That's when demand goes up, price goes up.
Down. Oh.
No, when supply goes down.
There you go. That's what I meant.
Yeah, you
supply
meant supply
goes
came.
down, price goes up. So I guess I did not.
When
pay
no one
attention
wants
that
it,
hard.
you got to charge more.
So I took Econ. I probably didn't pay attention.
You slept through weeks 1 through 17.
1 through final.
All right, so Dean's final note. He sent us this. It's a nice article from Search Engine Land, and it's about what's up with Google Farmer Panda and the update called Farmer Panda. Which Panda I hadn't heard.
I'd never heard of Panda. I'd heard of Farmer, not Panda. I mean, they're just making shit up now. Like,
Yeah, Panda.
we'll call it the
We'll
Matrix.
call it the skunk.
Yeah, we'll call it anything. Yeah.
Keeping in theme with the panda. All right, so this is again Search Engine Land. Lessons learned at SMX. Do we know what SMX stands for? Is that Search Marketing Expo.
I think that's exactly what it
Search
is.
Marketing Expo.
Well, that's the new name now.
Yeah. And the title is so it's SMX West. That was the one on the West Coast. Google's Farmer Panda update, white hat cloaking, and link building. So let's jump into this.
And this is Google's own words about the updates and all of white hat and linking from Google, from Matt Cutts.
And Matt Cutts said that the change isn't 100% perfect. Can you believe that?
Oh,
Yeah,
not Google.
You know, I actually had a client call this week. It's a really bizarre client, potential client. Probably won't be a client, and I can assure you he's not listening because he actually doesn't own a computer.
Okay.
And is not interested in owning a computer, which I don't really know how we're going to help him.
Yeah.
If we were able to send emails to anyway.
A
So
therapist?
he was. Yeah, so
Therapist would be a good
that
place
would
to
help,
start.
yeah. He had a whole lot of conspiracy theories.
Oh.
And at one point I was like, well, Mr. X. And he's like, yeah, I know I'm a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. No comment.
What does the murder of JFK have to do with building your website?
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Yeah, JFK doesn't care about your website. Anyway, one of the things he said as I was telling him, we actually target Google, either pay-per-click or, we're always talking about Google. And he was like, well, what about Bing? I said, well, interestingly enough, Bing the other day, their greatest aspiration seems to be able to provide results as good as Google.
Yeah.
So I really don't see the value there. And then he asked, what about Yahoo? And I was like, well, actually, Yahoo, their results are provided by Bing.
Yeah.
So you're really dealing with Google and another company that we don't need to name that its greatest aspiration is to provide results as good as Google.
As good as Google. Yeah. So it's like Google 1,
Yeah.
Google 2 in parentheses.
Google Prime.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny. Anyway, he said it isn't 100% perfect, but the searcher feedback is overwhelmingly positive. I can imagine, some of the things that they did is the blocking the low quality content. And I was impressed that move is actually done with a code, not with they're not
It did
actually
say
manually.
all algorithm changes, none of it was manual. So I think I would say that this algorithm change would be more efficient because it was all done by code. It would, no humans had to touch it. So there, it rules out human error. So that's cool. We've actually seen how the results have changed. We've seen some of our pages change, some clients' pages change as a result. And we're taking our tip from last podcast. We're working to make sure that we stay up to date with algorithm changes to get those back where they should be.
And make appropriate adjustments. One of the things that they talked about is one of the low quality things that was removed is an article where I think the word count was within 1% on every article.
Yeah, they were all similar
250
word
words.
count.
250 to 260 words.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So that makes me. We've heard us say this before. You got to have a minimum of 250 words on a page that you want to be indexed and come up in the search engine results page. So you might and my whole thing is like, does that mean I need to? This was in the article. Does that mean I need to go up and vary my article links? I mean, I will from now on, just to be on the safe side. But why? I mean, my what I'm thought process is, why does that matter?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason it does is because it's a good indication of a content farm.
Okay.
Right.
So when someone's like, I need 250 words.
Blah, blah, blah.
1,000 times.
Yeah.
There you go.
1,000 articles. Now you've got a content farm, and they're gonna, if I'm the person who's quoting the actual creating of the articles,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hit 250, 255, and I'm done.
And I'm done.
Like,
Next.
What do I need to do to finish that sentence at 250 to 255?
Yeah. Put a V in there.
Yeah.
Period. Done.
The end.
Yeah. So that's one thing you need to watch out for if you are writing content for your website or are getting content written or adding new content to your website. Okay, let me just say this. Everybody that's listening to this needs to pay attention to that, because everybody needs to be adding fresh, updated content to their website. Be very careful of it. I don't completely understand why they do that, but I will begin to vary the article links that we write and have written for the site. One thing that I did notice is that, and everyone has heard this, they're improving the quality of the search by removing low quality content on sites. Okay, here's what I have yet to find.
What's the definition of low quality content?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Can I please get what exactly is low quality content? I haven't seen it anywhere. So if someone else has, please send that to us. I'd love to see it. Matt Cuts, come on, man.
Yeah.
We've shouted out to you like 1,000,000 times. Dude, send that to me.
Cut us a break.
That was really good. That was really good.
Unfortunately, you are going to hear that a lot now.
Cut us a break.
Matt cuts us a break. All right. Eventually, we'll write an article. That'll be the title. One of the things, and I think it was in the comments that I said that was into this comments to this particular article. It said, so our takeaway is we need to go and change the word length of our articles. Was that in the article? Or was
that was in the article, because I guarantee you when he said that, everybody ran, "What's up, Chuck?
Chuck, how's it going?"
When he said that, everybody went back, got on their computer, started adding adverbs and these and.
It was probably tweeted. It was probably written in their notes. Task number 1: adjust the length of every article we've written so far.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But I know that's what everybody did, but
that was, and I think they stressed that's not the takeaway. You just need to write quality content, and we don't know what that
And
means.
he keeps saying, "Oh man, you want to provide a good." We say this: provide a good user experience
to the Google user. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to provide more information about that. One thing they did discuss is ad to content ratios. Right? If you have ads on your website, you're a douchebag. But that's my own personal opinion, right? Because I just don't like ads, right? I came to your website.
I had a tech guy in here, and he has some sort of software that blocks all ads.
Okay, yeah, that's what's up.
Interesting guys in my networking group, and he says he gets on other computers now where there are ads. He's like, oh, that's what CNN looks like. Like, whatever, a quarter of the page is ads, and that's all blocked on his computer.
That's what it really looks like. Yeah. If you have ads on your website, try to make a little extra scratch by putting other people's ads. You want to be very careful about the ratio of ads to content. Matt said that having advertising on your site does not inherently reduce its quality, which I completely disagree with. Because because I don't like ads. Now, I think what he's saying is that it does not reduce the quality, maybe your quality index score, or reduce it in terms of the Google bot.
Here's because we know probably the number one thing. Well, I don't know if this is true. I feel like the number one thing that happens on the internet is research, whether it's kind of research for personal. Oh, who sang that song?
Yeah. Tell me about this restaurant. Tell me about this business. I want to do business.
And
with
even the restaurant, though, the end game is actually some sort of e-commerce, a purchase or something like that. So. It kind of makes sense, and of course, everything that we're doing for our clients, if we put up an article, we do, in a sense, we have our own ads, right? Mm-hmm. It's the fact that it's the articles on a particular website, it's our own ad. So I think ads and articles kind of go naturally together.
Mhm.
I think what you're saying, and I wholly agree with this. If you go nuts with it, you know, it just becomes
it's annoying. It's very annoying.
I kind of don't like when you read 2 paragraphs of the article and then you have a section of AdSense and then you continue. How do I get to the other side of this? Like, you know.
That I personally just don't like that. But if you are using AdSense or putting other people's ads on your site, or any ads, be very careful about the ad to content ratio. Google says it doesn't affect you, but people don't like it. So they might bounce, or they might spend less time on your site, and so I believe that it will indirectly affect
and I think Matt alludes to the fact that if it's too extreme, it is going to impact.
Yes. He also goes on to talk about slowed crawl. If you have noticed we watch how often Googlebot crawls our client's website. If you're not watching it, you should be. This would be a good way to figure out how often they're coming back. Let's say you're adding content every day and you get a crawl once a month. You know, and then the next guy, the other website, gets a crawl twice a week. You know, we get a crawl probably about twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, because we're constantly adding content to our website. It's always moving and changing. But he says that if the Googlebot determines that your site is not valuable to its users.
This is, Matt also noted that if Google determines the site isn't as useful to users, we would like to, again, cut us a break.
Cuts us a break, fool.
Let us know what you think is not useful to users. How do you guys determine that? Because we might make adjustments to what we're doing. The other interesting thing is it points out the takeaway for the author of this article, which I don't even know who it is.
Vanessa.
The takeaway from Vanessa was understand how often Google crawls so that you don't expect changes to happen in 10 days if Google's not crawling every 30 days. I think that's wrong. I think the takeaway is if Google isn't crawling you except for every 30 days, it's because Google has decided what you're providing isn't useful to users.
Isn't relevant, yeah.
Reevaluate what you're providing and make sure it's useful to users.
Yes.
And really, take a step back and say, am I providing a good experience to the Google user or my user in general? And, I believe that there are probably some things that are really useful to some kind of very niche industries, and Google may say, that's not that useful to the population at large, and so I may not crawl that very often. And it's not an indication that you're not providing a good experience to your users. It's just the average Google user can't get anything out of what you do, so it's considered, I won't say useless.
We'll just say irrelevant. Absolutely, factually, definitely irrelevant. But not useful. But it's useful.
But don't take that personally.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't want to say not useless. To all of our friends overseas, what's up, Darren? What's up, my main man in Ireland? A cat, was that Pat Rudovich, or I can't remember his name, but I know we got a cat in Ireland. My man Guy in Israel. This is for you guys. Everything we're talking about hasn't happened yet in your country, so. You're probably like, what? Why do people keep talking about this?
Yeah.
The rollout as U.S. only, but it is coming overseas shortly.
Yeah, I think, didn't he say some of it? It's being tested internationally already, so you may see some kind of wonky results like we did with our SEO podcast page that was, page 1 and then disappeared and then back to page 1 and disappeared. So,
yeah,
interesting. That just shows the importance of monitoring, because it was kind of that hopping back and forth and then seeing the article that really keyed me into exactly what happened. If we weren't monitoring it, it would be like, oh, we just fell off, and maybe other people beat us on content or whatever, and we would have made adjustments but not known specifically what to change.
That's a good point. Monitoring, we haven't talked about that in a while. We did a couple podcasts on monitoring and what softwares that we use. You should be monitoring your website, not just your traffic, but also your keyword positioning. But we'll go over that we'll go back to one of that podcast and listen to that.
You got some blank stare, Charles?
I don't remember which one it was.
Okay. You have 3.
Yeah. He goes on further to talk about other algorithm changes that are happening. He says they're working on identifying scraped content.
And that's what happened to us.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because we had just taken, the base information for the podcast and stuck it on our podcast page, and that made up fully probably 50% of that page. And even though it was different podcasts and it wasn't just one, let me copy all the content from this page and stick it here. It was individual podcasts, and it wasn't even 1, 2, 3. It was probably like 1, 5, 7 or whatever. That scraped content. I mean, it wasn't malicious and intentionally malicious.
And it was our own.
And it was our own content. We just happened to have it initially hosted at Podomatic, and Podomatic gets precedence in terms of the content initially showed up there. So we're in fact scraping our own information, and so in a sense that information, frankly, we wanted users to look at that information, but frankly that was there for content relevant to SEO, and it's probably a good call that it wasn't on the first page.
Yeah.
Because of that content. Now, of course, everything we do belongs on the first page.
Of course. So they're working on other changes. They're working on scraped content, obviously getting rid of content farms and people just overdoing it on content. But what does this mean for the SEO industry? There was an algorithm change in October. We've had another one come in February. So does that mean that the as an SEO or someone that's trying to do SEO themselves, are you going to have to constantly change your efforts to be on the first page? My thought, yes. Matt Cutts, no.
Well, and yes and no, right? The yes is, we're constantly, tweaking stuff and monitoring. The no is, if you're providing a good experience to the Google user, then then you don't have to change. If that's your goal, then you don't have to change anything. Just keep doing that and you'll succeed.
Yeah, just keep. Yeah, okay, so you're right. You don't have to change. You just have to keep providing a good user experience for Google user. Mm-hmm. Now, what exactly that is changes all the time. So that you will have to change.
There is some interpretation. There is some knowledge of the algorithm that will help, and that's why you listen to this podcast, because we're kind of bringing to light new pieces of information about the algorithm and everything. So again, focus on the users. Matt Cutts says, don't chase the algorithm, make the algorithm chase you. And we know a site that's providing good content that is very useful to people. The challenge becomes, the old Yellow Pages model where, hey, look, I just put the bigger ad, and when I have the bigger ad, then I get more traffic. And you've got pay-per-click, you've got banner ads and all of that, so you can certainly do that with money. We just know that the target is approximately 80% of clicks that happen organically. And how do I get that? And the way you get that is actually by providing more value. And I'm thinking of like attorneys here, where an attorney no longer, in order to get organic, needs to be recognized by Google as an expert in the field of law that he practices. So it's not just simply, and then you end up trying to manipulate the algorithm and do whatever. Focus on becoming that expert. And we see, the attorneys that do well, they're engaged in the community, in the internet community, where they've got Ask.com questions answered, where they've got Quora questions answered, and those are high value links, and they're the best answer. On Yahoo questions, people can vote and say this is the best answer, and those particular kinds of links are of high value. How do you get those? Well, you got to go out there in the community, and that's not about link chasing. That's about it is.
Yeah. In case you aren't listening, we just gave you a serious tip.
Yeah.
For free. That was a very, very, very big tip. So I'm not going to repeat it. So I hope you guys caught that.
Okay, yeah. If not, go back and listen to all our podcasts.
There you go. All right, you want to get into white hat cloaking and link building?
Yeah.
Quickly? Yeah. White hat cloaking. I thought it was a black hat technique. Matt Cutts talked about it. White hat cloaking, when you show one thing to the Google user, show another thing to the Google bot. I was always told that that's wrong. Don't do it. Stop. Okay. So Matt says, what did he say? White hat cloaking is a contradiction in terms that Google, we've never had to make an exception for white hat cloaking. If someone tells you that, that's dangerous. Matt says, anytime a site includes a code that special cases for Google bot by the user agent or IP address, Google considers that cloaking and may take action against that site. Cloaking is bad.
Cloaking is bad. There is no such thing. It's an oxymoron, white hat cloaking, because there is no white hat cloaking. There's no even gray hat cloaking.
Yeah,
cloaking is bad.
Yeah.
I think what they were referring to, and they go on to talk about this, is that I may want to show something to the first-time visitor to my website,
Yes.
and then show the second-time visitor something else. And Matt Cutts says, hey, that's fine as long as you're showing the bot the same thing. Now, by the way, remember, the bot's going to see the first visit, not the second visit. And every time the bot comes, because it doesn't have a stored cookie, it's going to see the first visit. So if the first visit is really simple and you're trying to get an email, and the second visit has all your content, you're
never going to
what's going to get indexed
to
is
the second
simple
visit.
one.
Yeah.
So you've got to have some way. You want to have some way around that, but you do not want to say if it's a first-time visitor and they're not a Google bot, show them this. If it's a first-time visitor and is a Google bot, show that. You are then showing, that's cloaking. You are then showing something different to the Google bot than to the user, and that's cloaking, and you could get banned.
Now, something that's very closely related to that is, I guess, what you call it, geo-targeting cloaking. Let's say if you wanted to show one thing to a person that's in your city or in your neighborhood if they visit your website, and then you want to show something else to someone outside of your city or outside of that
To
neighborhood.
your enemies.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you want to show something else to your enemies. That would kind of be considered cloaking. Here's directly from Matt. Matt also noted that showing content based on geolocation is not cloaking, as it's not special casing for the Googlebot IPs, but rather by geographic location. So I guess when you show different content based on Googlebot IP, that's cloaking.
Well, it depends. So if it's the location as opposed to the fact that it's a Google bot. So basically you can do anything you want with location, but you should not be specifying, or if you're looking and trying to figure out in your code if it's a Google bot, and then your decision tree branches, you are cloaking,
Yes.
and you can get banned. If it doesn't branch just because it's a Google bot, that's, for instance, if you're checking the IP and the Googlebot IP maybe in California, whatever Googlebot's actually on your site, if you're just using that piece of information, then that's okay, because that's location.
Okay, that's what's up. All right, quick, let's get into building links. All right, Matt says, ask yourself. Okay, links are important. They're still important.
When you get Chuck out here.
Chuck, you want to get in some of this SEO action? All right, building links. Links are still very important. It is becoming increasingly difficult how to get links. They're putting all these things about, well, you don't want to buy links, you don't want to sell links, you don't want to do this, you want to do that. So, but they are, to this point, they are still very important. Here's what Matt says about building links. How can you acquire links in search and approved methods? Matt says you want to ask yourself, how can I make a good site that people will love? Oh my gosh, Matt, could you be any more generic? Seriously, are you really telling me?
No.
Are you really telling me that should be my link building strategy? Just provide a good link value or whatever. Provide a good site that people will love. Come on, man, that's bullshit.
Well, I think what he's saying is, I think it falls back to content.
Yeah, I agree. As long as it's not,
It's generic.
As long as it's
I
not-
totally agree.
And you're right, it couldn't be more
Yeah.
generic.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's saying, come up with good content.
I'll tell you,
Put it out there, and someone
and people will
link
link to it.
I can give you hints, right? What is it that you like to read? When we're reading a paper, we would like to read 5 reasons to do X.
Yes.
Five things to look for in an attorney. 5 things to whatever. 10 things to avoid when
I like
looking for
lists.
an attorney.
Yeah.
I love lists and bullet points.
Graphs.
Graphs.
Number of attorneys in the city of Houston over time. Those are the kinds of things that people might actually link to. We call it link baiting. That's actually a white hat technique. And, it's really about writing good content. Isn't that what he said?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
He was right.
So building links, you just want to build a site that people love, and they will magically link to it.
Magically.
No, but you put something out there that usually is probably entertaining.
Yeah.
Right? Or very informative, and it's catchy. It's something that can be shared easy. That's why video is so important here. People link to videos. And that way your content is not only good, but it's easy to read at that point.
There you go. Well, very well said.
Speaking of videos, remember to go check out the SEOrapper.com. Chuck has his initial response to the PPCMC, and the battle is continuing. And I think I'm still telling
It's
you,
on.
Release it at some point, just not in the battle sense, because I don't think anyone deserves that kind of whooping. I don't know.
One more good
lyrical
point.
abusing. I think it was.
Lyrical abusing.
Yeah.
Next question: how to build links? This was a great way to do it back in the day. Article marketing. How valuable is it today?
Wah, wah, wah.
There you go. Not at all. Don't do it.
Yeah, if any of y'all paid attention to the new Farmer algo update, then you would know that article marketing and article farms and all of this dupe content issues and
scraping, all ties into scraping. Yeah. What you can do, and I think this is something of value, is find a website where you that has some credibility and do a guest article. So the article is still valuable. You just got to put a little more legwork and figure out, hey, can I write an article on yours? So it's a valuable article on a valuable website that links back to yours, and let other people do the same. Remember, it's this kind of reciprocity that is what the internet is about. It's like, hey, you're going to link to me. I'm going to link back to you. You've got a good article that I've added, so now I've got good content, and you've got a great link. Hey, everybody wins.
Everybody wins, except if it's a reciprocal link.
Yeah.
See Matt cuts his blog and learn about that.
Then no one wins. Then it's a wash.
That's what's up. So basically, don't do art of marketing. That's outdated. That's so January. Stuff moves so fast. You can't say last year, because last year was like 20 years ago.
That's like 30 seconds ago.
So
people don't do that
January.
anymore.
Seriously.
People did that when we started this podcast.
Say, 05 or 04. You're like, nah, that's
so
60
January.
days ago.
Exactly, which is like light years in terms of internet, how stuff works.
All right, did you...
Well, I don't have any blanks there, but I do have a shout-out.
All right. Wait.
A punch in the face.
Punch in the face.
Come get one of those.
Punch in the face. This punch in the face goes to Sprint, T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon for waiving all calls and text fees for everybody in Japan.
Oh,
that's what's up.
That is what's
Salute
up.
for that
Wow.
right there.
Yeah.
That's real.
So you can make a call to Japan or from Japan?
I think it's for
Internal.
stuff happening internal in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if you're in Japan and want to call somebody else in Japan, it's free?
Yeah.
That's bad. That's
Text
what's
and
up.
call, I think.
They're losing
I
some
didn't
money
see
on
it well, but data's probably included.
Ooh, man,
Yeah,
people live in Japan.
Upload.
They are taking
video.
a hit on that.
Yeah.
They're losing some millions. So that's very cool that they decided to do that.
Yeah.
Shout out. Punch in the face to you guys. That's a good punch.
That was a big punch.
That
too,
is,
man. That's like
that is,
Verizon.
man. I'll give you another one if you send me a free phone. Just want to throw that out there.
Just throw that
I'm
out
so
there.
serious, though.
It's like Stephen Colbert is begging for an iPad 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was hilarious. His skit was, you can't stick it in one of those George Foreman ovens. You can't put two iPads
in there and a George Foreman oven.
and create an iPad.
Oh.
Send me an iPad 2, and I also need a new George Foreman oven if you got
Take
one
two
laying
of
around.
them, smash them together. Now you have an iPad too. That's what's up.
Like, you
Anyway.
have, two burned up
And a broken George Foreman grill.
It's all bad. You have been listening to the most popular SEO podcast on iTunes. I don't think we mentioned you can hit us on email, podcast@e-webstyle.com. Again, thank you for going out there and creating an iTunes account and putting a small review. We read one review. Go ahead and hit us because we don't know who that was. Give us a punch in the face so we know who that was, and we can punch you back in the face. I know the name had the double R in it.
That's right.
They didn't contact us. And also go on to our Facebook page, facebook.com/ewebstyle. It's no longer a tab. It's on the left. There's a reviews link, and go ahead and submit a review.
Oh, that's right. Pages got updated.
Yeah.
Business place.
The
What do they
place
call
pages
them?
got updated, and the whatchamacallit?
The business
tab
listing.
Yeah,
The tabs are over on the left. So, thank you guys. This is 100, man. This is
This is
awesome
number 100.
podcast. Number 100.
Centennial, what's it?
Podcast. Centennial.
Yeah,
I think it's like Centennial.
Centennial. Shit, I don't know. We
Centennial.
had that celebration when I was like in the
Podcast.
3rd grade. Oh, that was 250.
Yeah.
When Texas became 250, everybody's like, who gives a shit?
We do. Deep in the heart of Texas. All right, thank you guys for listening. Until the next podcast, my name's Chris Burris.
Paul Hansen.
Charles Lewis.
Bye-bye for now.